It has been so long since I watched anything on TV that caught my attention as quickly and hooked me as deeply as this show's first episode did. Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen is out on Netflix now, and I have to say I knew nothing about it, but upon finishing it, this is a seriously creepy, effective little show. The show is directed by Haley Boston and stars Camila Morrone, Adam DiMarco, Ted Lavine, and a handful of others. What it's about, it follows a character named Rachel, played by Camila Morrone, and she's set to marry the love of her life, Nikki, played by Adam DiMarco. Now, what I love about this show is from the opening scene, this establishes everything I love in horror. I talk a lot of the time about my brand of horror, how everybody has interests, some people love certain things. You want to know my brand of horror? Watch this show and watch the first episode, because I don't want to glaze it up too much, but this might be the single best pilot of any show I have ever seen. I would give this opening episode a 9.9 out of 10. Flawless. I loved it. From the opening scene, it establishes something is very weird going on in this show, and it is going to stay throughout, which is, I think, what I liked so much about it. The opening scene has Rachel setting to marry Nikki, and something is just off. You don't quite know what it's going to be, but as the series plays out, it's going to go back through the days leading up to the wedding, and we're going to unravel the mystery of what is surrounding this wedding and why something just feels so tonally off. This is a beautiful looking show. I love the cinematography here. I love the way it's filmed. I'm going to start off with the first episode again. That's actually probably going to be the majority of this review, because it really does establish the tone of what this show is. This is one of the most tense, suspenseful, dare I say scary episodes of television I have ever seen. There are so many things introduced in this show that just made my ears perk up. I was intrigued. I wanted to know how they were answered. And you do get those answers, and I do think they are rewarding. But the way they are advertised, the way they are teased in this opening episode is so damn good. I cannot stop saying it. So when the episode opens up, you have Rachel set to marry Nikki, and something is off once again. It's almost as if one of them is not who they say they are.
I'm sure he's the one.
But you have a thick sense of dread looming in this opening scene, and it follows you throughout. After that, you start hanging out with Nikki and Rachel. They're just doing normal couple things leading up to the wedding, and I really enjoyed this relationship. Let me say that as well. Maybe my old sour heart is warming up to love or something. I enjoyed the dynamic between these two a lot, so I really like rooting for both of these characters, or rooting for the outcome of this show to end well, because at a certain point, it feels like there's no way it's going to. But I loved it. It was bubbly. It was fun. Their kind of playful banter back and forth. It really reminds me of me, the way I kind of converse with people I'm close to. And I just liked the characters here. They were written to feel real, vulnerable at points, and all of the actors in all capacities of this show do a fantastic job, so I need to point that out as well. With Camila Morrone stealing the show here, I've never heard of her going into this, and I expect I'm going to be hearing a lot more of her after this show if it does well, because she is so good in this role. It's like a Deb ringer for Dua Lipa. Let's just say I will never hold that against anybody. But again, strictly performance looks aside, she's fantastic here. She's playing a very layered character, but also very relatable if you've ever known a character like a Rachel. Chronically anxious, constantly smoking, very well intended, so you do want this character to win. That is important. I think a lot of shows and movies flub this when they make a character kind of flawed, but she feels like such a well-intended good person who is finally having something good come into her life up into this wedding, when something before the wedding is just entirely crazy and she just needs to find a way over it. I'm also a big fan of Adam DiMarco here, who plays her boyfriend Nikki, who she's going to marry, and I don't know him from a whole lot of things, but he's one of these guys, maybe it's just his voice or it's his demeanor. Very likable guy. I've seen him in one other thing. He was actually the voice in Undertone on the other end of the podcast. Found that out going into this. But I really like him. Again, very charismatic couple, which makes the core of the show feel very likable. That's the word I'm going to keep saying, likable. Going into this, I heard the Duffer Brothers were attached to this. I actually thought they directed it, but I was wrong. They produced this. If I didn't know any better, I'd actually think they possibly directed this, because this has a lot of the same style, the same flow to the show that the original seasons of Stranger Things had that I loved so much. There's a very awesome, creepy, vibrant atmosphere here, almost like you're in a giant snow globe, if that makes any sense. The way the camera work is done, especially in episode 1, and throughout the entirety of this show, I have to say, is very misdirecting. It's very clever. A lot of well-crafted jump scares, a lot of misdirection about who the focus of the scene is actually on based on where the camera's pointing. Flash to something you had no idea it was there in the background the whole time. This could be a very derivative, kind of lame show, but I love the technical makeup of this show, both the sound of it, they use a lot of retro songs as well, paired up with the visuals of, again, making things feel like very long hallways in front of you that divert your eyes so you're bouncing back and forth of the screen, tracking shots of a character walking towards the camera so you can see over their shoulder, again, down long hallways, pitch black doors, in an environment that could otherwise just feel very PG-13, very straight to streaming. It manages to feel like the best elements of a horror movie while also maintaining the elements of an effective limited series you've come to know on streaming services like Netflix. I would almost love to see a standalone movie of the first episode or two of this show and just conclude it. And I don't think it sticks that entirely. I think it does kind of level off as the show goes on. Again, there's 8 episodes or so. But my God, the first episode of this is so freaking good. If you've seen the show, please comment down below and let me know what you thought of this pilot. I need to know. I'm going crazy. But yeah, even as a standalone movie, I think the first 2 episodes of this would be top 10 of the year in terms of creepy, scary, suspenseful things, all of the things they introduce, which is actually another thing I think this show does very well. There's a lot of stuff building up to the wedding here that you're going to explore throughout the course of this show, and I think there's a lot of elements that are both creepy, suspenseful, kind of familiar when you get the answers to them, but everything in this show feels very original. You have exploration of urban legends, this guy called the Sorry Man who apparently comes and cuts the child out of pregnant women, and that is an urban legend that goes on through this guy's family she's marrying into. It's pretty unsettling to me. You also have the idea that there's something off about this rich family and Rachel is just an outsider because she has no family, and the way they met, not going to spoil that as well. The way they explore that, again, comes off a lot more cryptic than it could otherwise. It could feel like a lame Lifetime movie in the hands of a lesser director. But the more stuff they introduced and the more answers they got in this show, it got weirder and weirder and weirder, and I loved it. You guys know I love weird. Not necessarily I attached to and but I liked the portrayal of almost all of the characters in this show. I thought they were all memorable. I thought they were all distinct, well acted. There's one guy in this show, I'm very bad with names, as you guys probably know. His name is Jules. He's the brother of Nikki here. He's kind of this smart ass, self-depreciating guy, and he's always on everybody's back about what they're doing. And this guy, I just know him as the evil Chris Stuckman now. I mean, tell me that guy doesn't look like evil Chris Stuckman. I'll wait. You'll never convince me that's not him. But even somebody as simple as his character is just so memorable because all of the characters here, Ted Lavine as the dad, they all have their standout moments. It makes this story feel very alive. It feels very familiar again, like a story that you could possibly experience, as silly as that sounds, given the nature of the show and where it ends up going and all of the urban legends and such. But I've been noticing this more and more recently, and I really enjoy if this is possibly the path we're heading in horror, given the fact everything is so self-explanatory now. I like that this show allows you for a lot of the show to fill in the gaps with your imagination. And that's what makes it creepy. That's what makes it effective. That's what makes it unsettling. Because when the show can remove continuity from itself, make me do the work, my imagination doesn't adhere to critical logic. It doesn't have to have continuity perfectly. My imagination is stupid. I mean, you've had a dream before. Everybody just kind of thinks about the most abstract, wild things. And I think that is the power of leaving it up to the viewer and trusting your audience to be able to fill in the blanks, and you don't give them all of the pieces, at least not immediately. There's also a lot of editing tricks used here to keep you on the edge of your seat because they'll have these very fast glimpses, almost as if to insert them into your subconscious because they went so fast in between the editing things you could not see the image. Bam, right in front of you, you just get hit with an image and it just makes you jolt up, stay alert. I love that shit. It keeps me engaged. I will say when you get the explanation of what's actually going on and what the underlying theme of this show is in episode 4 leading up to the wedding as you're progressing towards it, there came a point I was kind of like, I don't know if I love that. I love how you're doing it. I don't know if I love the answer you're getting. I get it though. If you're going to do it in a creative and fun enough way, I'll give you a little bit of rope. Kind of odd though, at a certain point, nobody's really questioning this. I mean, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about, but it gets kind of insane. And then everybody kind of goes, oh yeah, that's a thing. And nobody really goes, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? That is not a thing. I'd be interested to hear down below from you guys what your interpretation of this show's point is. I took the entire thing as a giant metaphor for anxiety and self-destructing behavior from people who are not confident in their past self. I could go a little bit deeper, but I digress. That's what I got out of it all. I'm not going to tell you anymore because I want you to experience it the way I did. Go check it out if you have not checked it out. If you have, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this show. Something very bad is going to happen. I really enjoyed this show. I binged it over the past couple of days. Thought it was fantastic. Easily one of Netflix's best. So if you enjoyed this review, my name is Sean. Comment down below, like, comment, subscribe, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next review. Peace.